By circumcision, and basically said that if you are circumcised, that Christ is no profit to you, or no. I'm driving right now, so
Okay.
I have it in front of me, but I think it's like Galatians 5:2. I think it is.
Okay.
And then I read also the Old Testament where the Most High said to be circumcised in your heart as well, so that takes away from that stiff neck and that hard head that we had. So I don't understand how Paul had the authority to take that away.
No, it was never taken away. Circumcision was never taken away. It was just for those. It was it's not even a symbolic thing. Circumcision starts with your mind. So when you when you stop following the ways of the world and start following the ways of the Most High, that's a form of circumcision. The first thing we got to understand is when this happened in Galatians, we got to first understand what Paul is saying. He's saying in Galatians 5:2, I believe you were saying, it says, "Behold, I, Paul, say unto you that if you be circumcised, Christ shall profit you nothing." So when brothers and sisters read that, first thing they say, oh, you don't have to be circumcised. Well, circumcision begins in the mind. It begins in the mind, and then it begins in the physical. Okay? So, again, it says, "For I testify again to every man that is circumcised, that he is a debtor to do the whole law." What's the whole law? The sacrifices are involved in the whole law. That's what Christ came and died for. To do away with that part. So it says, "Christ is become of no effect unto you. Whosoever of you are justified by the law, you are fallen from grace." But we know that what Paul is saying. Paul is a very sharp and very wise, smart Pharisee. He said things knowing what it meant. So when you go into Romans chapter 3 and 31, it tells you that by faith, faith, we all live by faith, but that's not going to profit you nothing if you're not keeping the law. It says the opposite. So what is Paul saying? You still have to practice keeping the law, but the sacrificial laws are done away with, so therefore we no longer keep the sacrificial law. Circumcision begins in the mind. So that part of the circumcision, some people physically only believe in some people mentally only believe in the Old Testament. So when they get circumcised physically, they're only thinking about keeping the whole old law. But when you get into the New Testament, when you got circumcised in the New Testament, you believed in Christ and that the sacrificial laws were done away with. It's simple. It's simple. People get tongue twisted up in that, but it is very simple. Okay, let me give you an example. When Abraham first came into believing in the Most High, was he circumcised? What did he have? If he wasn't circumcised when he first started following the Most High, what was it that he had? He had faith. When you read Hebrews chapter 11, that's what he had. He had faith for a long time. He had faith. So, if he had faith, he was already on the road to salvation by having the faith. You understand? And this is something the Christians talk about, having faith, but they don't understand the end result. So if he had faith, why did he have to circumcise himself? See, you always got to go back to the beginning. Why did he have to circumcise himself? Because it was a covenant. Okay? Now, the covenant continues, right? Generation after generation after generation. Okay? Remember how Abraham came into the truth. He had faith. Now, you got all these Israelites. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now you got all these Israelites coming behind Jacob. Now, as soon as they're born, what happens? They're circumcised before they can even think. So they're already practicing the law, but with no faith. They don't know anything about faith because they never had to go through. They never had to go through something like Abraham, leave his family, leave all of this. So that's why Christ is telling our people, look, in order to walk in the ways of Christ, you first must be like Abraham and have what? Faith. Then, as you walk that walk, then the covenant belongs to you. Then you go ahead and circumcise. It's no different from the beginning. It's no different. The only difference is when Abraham got circumcised, what did he do? He had to sacrifice, right? He had to sacrifice his son, his only begotten son, to who? The Most High. It was a sacrifice. So now the sacrifice didn't happen. It didn't happen. It was waiting. It was waiting for who? Hamashiach Yahushai. So because he didn't do it for his son, he was just proving an oath to the Most High that he would follow his charge. By following his charges, the Most High saw that he indeed was faithful. So now all Israelites are sacrifices. You know, they're doing sacrifices. They're building altars and sacrifices. Okay, now Christ has come. Now Christ went through with the whole action. He got sacrificed. So now that he's got sacrificed, guess what? That's done away with. So no longer do we have to do sacrifice. Do we still keep the law? Absolutely. Do we still have faith? We have even more faith, because now we have Christ as an example. He's our faith. Secondly, we get circumcised. Why? Because that's who the covenant belonged to, Israel. Israel, that was one of our jobs, to circumcise ourselves after we had faith. But if you do not have faith and you get circumcised, the whole law is corrupted. The whole law. You're not going to get into the kingdom. Look at this in Romans 4 and 12. Romans 4 and 12. I'll start at 11. And he received the sign of circumcision. This is talking about Abraham. A seal of righteousness of the faith. So what is the circumcision? A seal of what? Righteousness. This says, which he had yet been uncircumcised, that he might be the father of all them that believe, though they be not circumcised, that righteousness might be imputed unto them also. See, that righteousness might be imputed unto them also. What was that righteousness? Thy law is thy everlasting light, right? In everlasting righteousness. So they had the law, they were born with that, but they didn't have the faith. Let's go to verse 12. And the father of circumcision to them who are not of the circumcision only, see, but also walk in the steps of that faith of our father Abraham. This is all Hamashiach was trying to show our people. Have the faith. This is what the Pharisees and Sadducees didn't understand. They didn't have faith. You know what they had? Law, statutes, and commandments. It was written on their hearts with stone. What is that in Jeremiah 17:1? It says that the laws was written on their heart with a diamond edge pen or something like that. Let's go there. Jeremiah 17:1. It says, the sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron, and the point of a diamond, it is graven up on the table of the heart, and upon the horns of your altars. See, willest their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills? So then you got to think about, why is he saying altar? Because what happened on the altar? Sacrifices. So sacrifices happen on the altar. That's why we have the curse. You understand? Back then, the Most High knew that by sacrificing animals, we already had a curse in us because we was not having faith in the Most High. We was breaking the law at will. At will. They didn't think nothing of it. So he was trying to show us then we needed to have faith. We wasn't believing. We didn't have faith. He kept saying, believe in me, believe in me, believe in me. They was like, okay, Most High, I'm keeping the laws. I'm keeping the laws, Most High. I'm doing what you say do. Yeah, but you still got to believe. Your conscience. As you walk, you got to have faith. You got to believe in the things that you do, how you say it. You got to have compassion. You got to have humility. You know? That's what all the prophets was trying to show. They was trying to show the exact same thing Hamashiach was trying to show. You understand? All those prophets, that's what they were doing. They were keeping the laws, but they were trying to show the compassion and humility. What do you think Jeremiah was trying to do? He wasn't raising up against the king of Babylon that was coming, right? He just dealt with it. He told the other Israelites, get in line. We're going into captivity because of what? Because of the hardness of your hearts. You know? So the Most High is telling you, look, you guys are already keeping the curse. You're keeping the laws, but you don't have faith. Therefore, the laws are cursed to you. Okay? Let's go back. Romans 4:13. For the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith. See, Israelites must have faith. Anybody can keep the laws. Anybody can keep the laws. All right? But you got to have faith that you are the seed of your forefathers. You got to have faith that you are the Most High's chosen. You got to have faith in that. You know, and on top of that, we haven't even discussed about Paul. We have to understand, when Paul was speaking, he was speaking about the Gentiles. There's a lot of Israelites from the 10 tribes who were scattered abroad. They were scattered all over, and they were keeping the ways of the heathen. And when you go into the book of Maccabees, it tells you that the law of the Gentiles was that the Israelites should not circumcise themselves or they will be killed. So you figure first generation, second, third generation in that land of the Gentiles, we stopped doing the physical act of circumcision. And so when these Gentiles, these Israelites who were in Gentile state of mind, started coming back to the fold, that was the argument that Paul had with Peter. These guys believe. They want to follow the ways of the Most High, but they're not circumcised. Peter refused to let these men come into his house because he knew that they wasn't circumcised. But Paul was trying to tell them, you have to be circumcised in your mind first. You have to believe in Christ. That's a form of circumcision. Then, as time persists, then you build up the strength to go get circumcised. I had a cousin like that. He wouldn't get circumcised until he finally came into the truth. And he believed for maybe 2 years before he even did it. And then he went and actually did the physical circumcision.
And I get that. I agree with everything you just said. But he threw me off when he said, if you're uncircumcised, Christ will profit you nothing. Like, then he also went on to say that if you're circumcised, you're obligated to keep the whole law. But Israel was always obligated to keep the whole law. It sounded like a punishment for following, what you're supposed to do anyway. I'm like, wow, that's kind of different. I never read it that way,
Yeah, you got to always keep in mind. Okay, Paul spoke on Galatians, but there's books that came after Galatians, and you got to remember what Revelation 14:12 says. Here are they that keep the commandments. Here are they that have the testimony of Christ. So we still got to keep the commandments, And like I said, you want something. It's just like an amendment. It's almost like an amendment. When you look at the books, Paul said this, but then you got to go back and look in Romans, look in 1 Corinthians, and see what he says. Because even in the book of Acts, it speaks about circumcision when he was going back and forth with Peter. That's in the book of Acts. So you got to understand from his mindset what he was dealing with. He was dealing with the lost tribes of Israel who were scattered abroad, plus the actual Jews who thought that they knew the whole law without following the second greatest commandment, which is love thy brother as you love yourself. They missed that whole part, So that was one of the things. The people, when they bring up these verses out of Galatians, like that one that you said, they get lost. They don't understand what it means, And then also think about this. Chew on this a little bit. What law was Paul talking about that was done away with?
That would have had to have been basically, the laws of sacrifice.
Laws of sacrifice. So you got to remember that too. So in the New Testament, if anybody else is listening, Paul, when he says that the law is done away with, he was talking about the sacrifices. Those laws are gone. So when many Christians read that, they think that all the laws are gone. Okay. Matter of fact, we're going to get into some laws tonight. Did that make any sense to you?
No, I appreciate the time to respond before the class, and if I have any more questions on it, I'll text you on it later.
Yeah, we could go into that a little later offline if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem. So, like I said, tonight we're going to talk about the law of the orphans and the law of the widows. So what I want to do first and foremost, we want to go to Colossians 3:17. So this is going out to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered abroad. We meet every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. And this is concerning the Bible and the Israelites who are in the Bible, because that's what the whole Bible is about. It's about the Israelites, you know, falling from grace and rising back to salvation and going back into the kingdom to serve and worship their power, you know. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to go Colossians 3 verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or in deed, do all in the name of the Mashiach Yahushai, giving thanks to our power and the Abanawa by him. Everything we do is in the name of Christ, Mashiach, and his Father, Abanawa Yahweh, our Father. Okay, so we're going to go into the scriptures tonight. We're going to start out with Joshua 1:8. Because our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, right? If we're destroyed for lack of knowledge, we need to find out what that knowledge is. Because knowledge is going to save us if we could get it. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the understanding of these times. Okay, and we'll start at Joshua 1:8. It says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth." So the Most High considers this Bible a book of the law. It's a law book. It says, "But thou shalt meditate therein day and night." This is very important. Day and night we're supposed to meditate. It says, "That thou prayest, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success." So this is how we're going to get success, by meditating in his word. By meditating the word, we got to have fear of the word as well. We have to understand what he's asking us. He's telling us to do this in order to get everlasting life. Okay, so let's go to Proverbs 6:20. So what we're doing, we're going to go precept for precept, line for line. Here a little, there a little. With stammering lips, we're going to speak to our people. So this is the formula of reading the Bible, believe it or not. It's like a crossword puzzle. The Most High gives us the formula to read it. And when you go to the churches, they don't do this. They read one whole chapter and they close the book. They might bring out a verse here and there, but the Bible is scrambled for the purpose of confusing our enemies. That's the reason why the Most High wrote it the way that he wrote it. Because if he wrote what was plain in here, our enemies, any of our enemies, will be able to read this book and understand it. But now it's been made plain to the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob again. Okay? Let's go to Proverbs 6:20. Proverbs 6:20. He says, "My son, keep thy father's commandment, and forsake not the law of thy mother." What is the law of thy mother? Because, you know, as Israelites, most brothers be like, women ain't, you know, most Israelites on the streets would be like, women ain't all that. But the scriptures say, "Forsake not the law of thy mother." We got to understand that our mother is important too. Okay? Verse 21. "Bind them continually upon thine heart, and tie them about thy neck." So we got to understand, what is the mother? What is the law of the mother? The mother is tender. The mother is going to teach you right from wrong at an early age. Okay? The father gives orders. He tells you what to do, but the mother is going to show you something tenderly. And this is the way the Most High is going to speak to us too. He's going to give us orders, but he's also going to have mercy on us, like a mother would. Okay? It says, verse 22, "When thou goest, it shall lead thee. When thou sleepest, it shall keep thee. And when thou awakest, it shall talk with thee." That's why we read Joshua 1:8. 1 verse 8, because he says, day and night, this book is not going to depart from us. That's why he's telling them, this is what's going to happen if we do just that. It's going to lead us. We're going to be able to sleep without fear. We're going to awake and talk about the truth. It says, for the commandment is a lamp and the law is light. Okay? I don't know if you brothers and sisters ever heard the 10 virgins that Christ gave a parable about. 5 of them had oil and the other 5 didn't have oil. And then the time when the prince showed up, the 5 that didn't have any oil couldn't get in. And the 5 that had oil was the ones who were inside, and they were content, they were safe. So in order to fill your lamp up, you got to keep the laws. Because we all are considered those virgins. When you come into the truth, you become a brand new virgin. You become a brand new individual. That's why people don't understand the scriptures when it says in Revelation that 144,000 are going to be selected and they are virgins. All that means is that they are virgins to the truth. That they're not fornicating with other gods. They're not following Buddhism. They're not following Islam. They're only following one God. That's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So that makes them virgins. Okay? Not physical virgins, but mental and spiritual virgins. Okay? For the commandment is a lamp and the law is light, and reproofs of instructions are the way of life. See that? This is what we're supposed to be doing. Keeping the commandments. Let's go to Proverbs 1 verse 8. A lot of people don't know this right here. A lot of people are in the dark. They're sleeping. They don't understand how the Most High thinks. See, in order to understand the Most High, we have to think like the Most High. In order to think like Him, we have to meditate in His Word. Because if you talk to the average person out there in the world, they'll tell you that everything is okay. As long as they got a job, as long as they got a place to live, as long as they got a car to go to and fro, they say this is the best place on earth. Right here in America. But is it the way of the Most High? That's what we got to understand. You know? And how do you know it's the way of the Most High? By reading His scriptures and seeing, using your eyes to look around and see if it goes along with the scriptures. Most of the stuff that you see in the world goes opposite of what the scriptures say. Okay? Proverbs 1 and 8. It says, my son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. There it is again. He's telling us to forsake not the law of thy mother. For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. See, your mother and your father are going to teach you right. If they're prudent people, normal people is what I say. Okay, they're going to try to teach you the right ways of the world. You know, and what the thing, use your conscience and so forth. That's why the Most High made in the commandments, didn't He have honor your father and your mother? This is a commandment that He spoke of. That's what we have to understand. Let's go to Exodus 20 and 12. You know, and this is a very easy sermon for some, and a very hateful sermon for others. Some people don't love their father and their mother for what their father and mother may have done to them. Okay? Yeah, a lot of people don't like their father, their earthly father, and don't like their earthly mother. You know? And the reason being is because of what they haven't been taught. Okay, let's go to Exodus 20 and 12. Exodus 20 and 12. Okay, and by the way, this is the 5th commandment that the Most High gave us within the 10 commandments. So we got to honor this too. It says, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land, which the Most High thy power giveth thee. So we got to understand, look, if we want to live long life, this is one of the commandments that we got to keep, other than the first 4 before it. We want long life. He's telling you right here, you have long life if you honor your mother and your father. Okay? I don't care what your father and mother do, you still got to honor them. They could be crackheads. You still got to honor them to a certain degree, but you got to, take out the bones. If they telling you to do something crazy, like, nah, you don't have to do that. But just show compassion towards them, Let's go to I want to get Jeremiah 49, verse 11. And all of these scriptures that I'm bringing out are precept for precept, but they're all verses concerning your father and your mother. Because all of us got here by what? The father and the mother. You couldn't have got here without them. Christ even got here with his father and mother. All the kings of the earth. That's why we say right now, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We came from those loins. They all had wives. Right? Jeremiah 49. Jeremiah 49, verse 11. I'm letting my fingers do the walking here, and they're walking kind of slow. I'm trying to get them going here. I'm like the yellow pages. Jeremiah 49, verse 11. Leave thy fatherless children. I will preserve them alive. And let thy widows trust in me. See? So, why is he saying this? Leave thy fatherless children. Why is he saying this? One of the reasons why he's saying this is we got to look at our history. When we went into captivity, what happened to us? What happened to us in captivity? Anybody remember what happened to us? Let's go to the scriptures and find out. This is what happened to us. We got to remember what the scripture said, what would happen to us. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28, verse 32. Look at this prophecy. This is a prophecy by our forefathers when they broke the commandments. This is what happened to us during the Atlantic slave trade. Deuteronomy 28, verse 32. It says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. See? So what happened to our sons and daughters? They were given to another people. Guess what? We are today orphans. Every person that came off the transatlantic slave trade are orphans. We was all split up. They got movies that show how we was being split up. Roots, 12 days as a slave, 12 years as a slave. All right? All of us are orphans. That's why we don't know. We try to hold on to something by having family reunions and stuff like that. But we still orphans. We don't know where we came from. We can't tell you what part of Africa we came from. Not one place. This is thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand. This is what happened to our forefathers that came over here on slave ships. They didn't have no control to see where we would go. We were just sold like cattle, like beasts. Okay? And that's why the Most High is this way. That's why we have to be careful how we treat our brothers and sisters of Israel. We have to be very careful. They could very well be our cousins, our uncles, our aunties. All right? That's why he said, love thy brother as you love yourself. When you see one Negro, you see another. Like the brother that got shot. That brother could very well be a family member. Got shot in the street like that. Right? So we got to come to the aid of Israel, even though Israel's wicked as hell right now. Israel's wicked, man. They are not following the commandments. That's why this stuff is happening to our people. Let's go to Deuteronomy 27 and 19. Deuteronomy 27, verse 19. It says, cursed be he that perverteth the judgment of the stranger, fatherless, and widow. And all the people shall say, amen. See that? We acknowledge this law. This was a law. It said, cursed be he that perverteth the judgment of the stranger, fatherless, and widow. We ain't even supposed to slander a widow or somebody who's fatherless. You know? There's a lot of men who got married and didn't have any children. You can't slander that person. You can't make fun of them. All right? These are laws. We don't know this stuff because no one's never taught us. So how we gonna know? We slander our people all the time. Don't you know how many of our great-great-great-grandmothers in the scriptures was barren, couldn't have kids, children? Sarai, she couldn't have children. You know? Samuel's mother, she couldn't have children. Eventually she had children. And her and Sarah, they eventually had children. But you know, how did they feel? It was an honor to have children in those days. You know, now women are taking birth control and sticking things up inside of them to keep from having babies, messing up their whole cycle, you know. And then when they try to have children, they can't have them. It's all kinds of stuff going on, okay, that we just don't know. Let's go to Exodus 22 and 22. Exodus 22 and 22. Exodus chapter 22, verse 22. Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. There's a lot of our young men out today don't have fathers, don't know who their father is. So it's telling us don't afflict any widows or fatherless children. Okay? A lot of daughters don't have fathers. Don't know what it's like to have a father. That's why you see all these broken relationships today. They ain't never been used to dealing with a man. They don't know how to treat a man. Because they ain't never had to see, they never saw it between their mother and their father. You know, a lot of the children are seeing their mothers with different boyfriends their whole life. They can't even keep up, can't even count the names of the boyfriends their mothers done had or their father's girlfriends done had. You know, because why? Because we're all orphans. We're all orphans. So that's why the Most High is telling us what to do. We got to come back to Him. It says, ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If thou afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry. So even when we out there teaching, we got to be careful how we talking to some of these people about their fathers and stuff. You know? It says, and my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children follow. Basically, He's going to reverse it. He's going to put it on the people who are talking bad about the fatherless and the widows. The Most High could do that. The Most High got 1,000 ways to hurt you. 1,000 ways. That's why He said, guard your words. What you say can come back on you. I've seen that happen several times. I've said certain things sometimes and it come to pass. I'll be like, oh, wow, why did I even say that? You know, some things you say will come back to bite you. That's why you have to guard your words. Be careful how you speak. Very important. Very important. And this is real deal. Careful how you speak is real. Let's go to Sirach in the Apocrypha. Let's go to Sirach in the Apocrypha. That would be Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. For some of you who don't have Apocryphas, I advise that you get one soon. It's part of the King James Bible, the Apocrypha, the 1611. The year of the 1611 Bible. It was actually in the Bible until the Protestants got a hold of it and they took it out. Why? Because it's the missing link to the Bible. It shows us why we're calling people Gentiles and we don't even know why we call them Gentiles. The Apocrypha tells you who the Gentiles are and what Israelites were calling themselves Gentiles. So we have to get that understanding. Okay, we're going to Ecclesiasticus chapter 3, verse 1. And all of this is about the orphans and the widows and your father and your mother. It's very important. It says, hear me, your father, O children, and do thereafter, that ye may be safe. For the Most High have given the father honor over the children. See, there's an order in this whole ordeal. When the Most High sets up a father and a mother, a child should not be talking back to his father after he done changed his diapers for how many years? All right? So, I mean, and then they get grown and think they can tell you what to do. It says, for the Most High have given the father honor over the children and have confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons. So even the mother has authority. And why does it say confirmed? Because whatever the mother says, if the son don't listen, the mother brings it right back to the father, and the father comes down on that son's head. There's an order. That's why you got to have two. Some people say, oh, you don't need two parents in the household. Or I came out just fine. I was raised by a single parent mom. I came out just fine. But no, we are still missing tools of the other parent. I don't care what people say. According to the scriptures, it's a confirmation when two parents are in the household. And that's a very difficult thing to see these days. You don't see it often. Verse 3. Whoso honoreth his father maketh an atonement for his sins. Look at that. Just by honoring your father, you're making an atonement for your sins. Isn't that something? Some people hate their father. How can you hate your father? You know? Verse 4. And he that honoreth his mother is as one that layeth up treasure. See? Even your mother. You laying up treasure where? In heaven. The Most High is seeing that. It said, whoso honoreth his father shall have joy of his own children. And when he maketh his prayer, he shall be heard. Look at that. He that honoreth his father shall have a long life. There it is again. We just read that in the Ten Commandments. He that honoreth his father shall have a long life. And he that is obedient unto the Most High shall be a comfort to his mother. So your mother is always going to love you for just loving the Most High. And that's plain. You look at our people. You let a son or a daughter love God or the Most High, the mother automatically is falling in line. She happy. Just because you either worshiping the Most High or some of y'all going to church, whatever, the mother is going to be happy automatically. See? That's why we know these scriptures are of our heritage, because this is true amongst our people. Right? He that feareth the Most High will honor his father, and will do service unto his parents as to his masters. Honor thy father and the mother, both in word and deed, that a blessing may come upon thee from them. See, that's very important. For the blessing of the father established the houses of the children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations. Where did Isaac go to get his blessing? Isaac went to Jacob, right? I mean, Jacob went to Isaac, right? To get his blessing. And Isaac went to Abraham to get his blessing. All right? Those blessings are very important. And you only get one blessing before you die to give to your children. And you have to select which child. Okay? Only one blessing you give. Just like Jacob and Esau, what? Jacob got the majority of the blessing. Esau got the scraps. He got the scraps of the blessing. Verse 10. Glory not in the dishonor of thy father, for thy father's dishonor is no glory unto thee. See? For the glory of a man is from the honor of his father. See, a lot of brothers laugh when they see if their father been wicked towards them their whole life and their father falls. So I've heard people say, that's good, I hope his ass die. I heard people say that about their father. I hope his ass get killed. I've heard people say that. But, you're bringing a curse upon your own self when you say that. Okay? And a mother in dishonor is a reproach to the children. It says, my son, help thy father in his age, and grieve him not as long as he liveth. Don't even feel sad for him. Just help him. It says, and if his understanding fail, have patience with him. See, and this is even dealing in the truth, because most of the time you come into the truth, but nobody in your family come into the truth. So the Most High said, even then, have patience with them. If they don't get it, still have patience with them. Don't cut them off. Continually deal with your family. It says, and if his understanding fail, have patience with him, and despise him not when thou art in thy full strength. For the relieving of the father shall not be forgotten, and instead of sins, it shall be added to build thee up. In the day of thine affliction, it shall be remembered. See, when you get afflicted, because the Most High afflicts us, okay? Don't think you're going to go through life with no affliction. You got to understand, Hamashiach, Christ, went through affliction. If he went through affliction, we're going to go through affliction. So in that time of affliction, the Most High will remember how you treated your elders.
Has left the conference.
And bless you based on that. It says, thy sins also shall melt away. As thy ice in fair warm weather. Oh, okay. He that forsaketh his father is as a blasphemer, and he that angereth his mother is cursed of the Most High. Look at that. So we got to understand these things. These are very critical elements. So I brought this out so our people can understand. Look, we have to honor our mother and father. This is a law. Not only that, we have to honor the widows, the fatherless as well. Okay? And why am I bringing this out? Because it goes the same way with the Father of heaven. Okay? The way we honor our mother and father is the same way we honor our Father in heaven. Let's go to Sirach chapter 6 in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 34. Listen to this. Now this is when you come into the truth. Because when you come into the truth, you also have elders when you come into the truth, right? And you learn from the elders. They're your spiritual fathers. Okay? You have spiritual fathers, spiritual mothers, and you have physical earthly fathers and physical earthly mothers. Okay? Which you're born from. But your spiritual father and your spiritual mother, you're supposed to listen to them as well. Look at this. This is because they have your best interest in the Most High. Okay? If they're sincere. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 34. It says, stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise. You got to remember, what did Christ do? Was not Christ standing in the midst of the elders? Let's go to Luke chapter 2. He had a mother and father. Joseph and Mary was his father, right? Let's go to Luke chapter 2. Luke chapter 2, let's start at 42. Luke chapter 2, verse 42. It says, and when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast. Okay, this is Christ. He was keeping the feast of his father, heavenly Father. And when they had fulfilled the days as they returned, the child i.u.i.c tarried behind in Jerusalem. So he stayed behind. And Joseph and his mother knew not of it, but they supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey, and they sought him among their kinsmen or kinsfolk and acquaintance. So they were looking for him amongst all their family members. And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem seeking him. They didn't know where he was. And it came to pass that after 3 days, and people have been lost their mind, they lost their child for 3 days. And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. Where was i.u.i.c? In the midst of the elders. He was right amongst the midst of the spiritual elders, getting understanding. See, these are your other fathers. i.u.i.c knew that at an early age. At 12 years old, he knew this. Look at verse 47. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou this dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. Listen to this. And he said unto them, How is it that you sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my father's business? He all about the Most High. That's how we supposed to be. We supposed to be all about our father's business, about the Most High. Let's go back to Sirach. Sirach chapter 6, verse 34. 6 verse 33. 34. It says, Stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise. That's what Christ was doing. So we got to be the same way. It's good to be around the elders because you're learning. And a lot of times elders won't give you information right away. They want to see your patience. They want to see your diligence. They want to see if you're going to hang in there before they actually give you the mystery of an answer. Okay? This is verse 35. Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape you. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee 3 times unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. See? That's how we're supposed to be. Remember, Samuel was like that with Eli, the prophet Eli. And Elisha was like that with the prophet Elijah. And John the Baptist was like that with i.u.i.c. So, you know, we got to gain that information by being around other people who are believers. You're not going to get the truth hanging out with a bunch of sinners. They're not going to teach you nothing concerning the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High or the way Christ walked. They're not going to do that. So you're going to go right into darkness along with them. Okay? Let's go to Psalm 68, verse 5. Psalm 68, verse 5. Psalms chapter 68, verse 5. A father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows is the Most High in his holy habitation. Okay, a father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows is the Most High in his holy habitation. So the Most High dwells amongst them. The Most High is seeing too that they're safe, especially if they got belief in him. Okay, because they're already hurting from their upbringing. So the Most High is comforting them. The Most High has a lot of mercy, man. We got to understand the mercy of the Most High. The Most High has a lot of mercy for his people. Let's go to Deuteronomy 10 and 18. Deuteronomy 10 and 18. Is there any questions out there? Okay. So we're going to go Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 18. He says, He doeth execute the judgments of the fatherless and widow, and loveth the stranger, in giving him food and raiment. So the Most High loves the stranger. He loves those who know. He loves those who are Israelites, who are trying to walk upright. You know, they're trying to walk upright. They're trying to do the righteous thing, and the Most High will protect them. He will protect them. Proverbs 7 and 2. Proverbs chapter 7, verse 2. And the whole point of this is showing you the commandments. You know, these are commandments that we must keep. We have to know these things. We have to know about the fatherless and the orphan and so forth. You know, this is Proverbs 7 and 2. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine heart, or eye. Okay, so that's what we have to do. We understand we give so the Most High will give us more. If we keep his commandments, the Most High will give us more. So what do we seek him for? Why are we seeking the Most High? For life. How? How are we seeking him for life? We're seeking him for his will and for his mercy. For our people's sake. Our people don't know the Most High. Right? They don't know the Most High. Let's go to Psalms 40 and 8. Our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, remember? Ain't nobody got this. I mean, the truth is hitting the earth now, and it's spreading. It's all over the earth right now. It's starting to hit the corners of the earth. People are waking up. But at the same time, it still has to be pushed. Psalms 40, verse 8. I delight to do thy will, O my power. Yea, thy law is within my heart. I have preached righteousness in the great congregation. Lo, I have not refrained my lips. O Most High, thou knowest. I have not hid thy righteousness within my heart. We ain't supposed to hide this. We got to tell people. I have declared thy faithfulness in thy salvation. I have not concealed the loving kindness in thy truth from the great congregation. The congregation of who? The congregation of Israel. It says, withhold not thou thy tender mercies from me, O power. Let thy loving kindness and thy truth continually preserve me. And that's what we're shooting for. Let's go to verse 12. For innumerable evils have compassed me about. Mine iniquities have taken hold upon me, so that I am not able to look up. They are more than the hairs of mine head, therefore my heart faileth me. What evils to multiply? Think about that. Let's think about that. What evils is he talking about? He said, an innumerable number of evils have multiplied. Was this King David? Was he in that much evil? Think about King David. King David didn't do all that. King David sinned, but he didn't sin innumerable times. When you read the scriptures, King David was almost perfect, other than killing his soldier Uriah and taking his wife. Other than that, King David walked in the ways of the Most High. So was he talking about those times? No, he's talking about us. King David is talking about us. Remember, we are the seed of David, King David. Okay? This is 1 John chapter 2, verse 16. I said we're the seed of King David because it says the tabernacles of King David is going to raise again. So if the tabernacle of King David is going to raise again, that's the whole house of Israel. Because King David was the king over the whole 12 tribes. It didn't split up to after Solomon. So we're the tabernacles of King David. Okay? 1 John chapter 2, verse 16. This is what he was talking about, the evils that's multiplied. It says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, you see that right now, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. See? All of that's going on now. It's multiplied even more if you go to the city of Vegas, Las Vegas. All of these things are all over. It's in your face there. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride. If you go to Vegas, all of these things stick out like a sore thumb. They're not even hiding behind some dark wall. They're right there in your face. It says, all this stuff is not of the Father, but of the world. Okay? That's what we got to understand. What they say about Las Vegas. Everything stays in Vegas. Right? You ain't supposed to talk about it once you leave that place. All the sin, they call it Sin City. That's the name of Vegas. Esau calls it Sin City. And he's happy about calling it that. You know? There's nothing but money and sin going on there. This is verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So he's telling you right there. Don't love this wicked place. This is a wicked place, man. This is a mystery Babylon. Okay? This is Egypt. This is Rome. This is mystery Babylon. This is all the wicked kingdoms wrapped up in one. Right here. This is a great whore. The Most High says what? In Proverbs, a whore is a deep ditch. He says that. The Most High says that in the book of Proverbs. Okay? Y'all don't believe me? It's in the scriptures. A whore is a deep ditch. All right? Let's go to Amos chapter 5, verse 15. See? Our people got to know the scriptures, and we got to know how to think like the Most High. And the Most High gives us precept upon precept. He's showing us the things that's going on. This Bible is a future book. It's almost like a crystal ball. It's telling you what's going to happen. The people are so blind to the fact that this stuff is going to happen. They think it's a fairy tale book. They don't think this stuff is going to really happen. But there's so many things that's already happened that the scriptures have already spoken about. Look at this one. Amos 5 and 15. He says, hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. Now, when you say hate the evil, first thing Christians are going to say, that's the Old Testament. You ain't supposed to hate. But the Most High says hate the evil. They're not listening. They jumped over the word evil. And they missed the whole word hate. They're ready to make up an excuse for the hate. But the scripture says hate the evil. What is the evil? Everything that goes against the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. It says hate the evil. We can't ignore that. Hate the evil. Those three words are there. It's in the scriptures. Christ said, not one jot or one tittle shall pass away. It's here. Hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that the Most High of hosts will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph. Okay? Man, these scriptures hit hard. Let's go to verse 16. Verse 16. I'll read down to 18. Therefore the Most High, thy power of hosts, the Most High saith thus, wailing shall be in all streets. You see that? Every street there's going to be wailing. Evil is going to be in every street. And they shall say in all thy highways, alas, alas. And they shall call the husbandman to mourning, and such as are skillful of lamentation to wailing. Man, when the Most High come back, these cities are going to be wailing. They're going to be crying. Because the Most High is going to be destroying this place. Verse 17. And in all vineyards shall be wailing. He's telling you there's nowhere to go where there's going to be wailing and gnashing of teeth. For I will pass through thee, saith the power. See? Woe unto you that desire the day of the Most High. That's what the Christians say. Oh, I can't wait till I get to heaven. They got songs and everything when I get to heaven. Right? But they don't even know what's coming. The Most High said he's coming to destroy for the simple fact of the sins that's built up into heaven, just like during the days of Babel, with the Tower of Babel. It says, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. See, we don't want the Most High to come back down here. You talk about an ass whipping. The Most High is coming down to destroy. That's what we're not understanding. We don't understand the vengeance that he has. All right? You talk about your hair standing up on your arms. You talk about scared. Shh. Job said in the book of Job, I forget where it is. I think it was Job 15. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Job said he was afraid because he felt the spirit go right over him. And he said he could feel his hair stand up on his arms. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I thought it was.
Just to feed off of that, the men tumbled before the angel. You know, when they saw the angel, you think they're going to get to the Most High.
Right. Here it is right here. That's right. We're gonna have to, he said, work out your own salvation with trembling and fear. Why is he saying that? Work out your own salvation with trembling and fear. Look at this. This is how Job felt. This is the power of the Most High right here. Let's go to Job chapter 4, verse 14. Job chapter 4, verse 14. It says, fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. When you're afraid, that's what happens. When you have no control over the situation, that's when your bones shake. Look at this, verse 15. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. Job was afraid, okay? Have anybody ever been that scared before? Job, he felt the spirit pass right over his face. Death. It says, if it stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. An image was before mine eyes. There was silence, and I heard a voice saying, shall mortal men be more just than the Most High? Can you imagine something telling you that? Shall a man be more pure than his maker? Behold, he put no trust in his servants, and his angels he charged with folly. How much less on them that dwell in the houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, which are crushed before the moth. They are destroyed from morning to evening. They perish forever without any regarding it. This is what the Most High says. It says, doth not their excellency which is in them go away? They die even without wisdom. Can you imagine something telling you that? You feel a spirit come across? Because look, if a spirit came into your room at silence, at night, you would feel it. You would feel that spirit in the room. You would feel it. Don't you know we got angels around us at all times right now? We can't see them, but the angels are right here with us. One recording and the other one watching. Okay? We gotta understand that we are in the midst of angels. The angels follow people. Why am I mentioning this? Because just think about it. Bugs. Think about bugs. Why do flies fly around people? Why do they always come in your house when you open the door? They survive off people. Animals, rodents, survive off people. Rats, all them little critters, they survive off you. Taking your garbage out. They get through the garbage cans and eat your food. Roaches, they survive off what? Humans. They just keep coming. It's the same way with the spirits. Same way with angels. Okay? They're in your midst. You don't even know it. They're sitting there recording everything. Look at this. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. 12 and 14. We got to understand the power of the Most High. The Most High says, like Elder Thyroid, he always says, the scripture says, the Most High's eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. 10,000 times. You know? I mean, he sees everything. It's like that movie I just saw with my son, Fast and the Furious. They had a thing called God's Eye. A satellite system that can see you anywhere you go on the earth. That's how the Most High is. Esau is trying to be like the Most High. Okay, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 14. It says, "For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing." So you think you're getting away with something in secret? The Most High right there watching you. His angels see everything and report it back. Okay? "For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil." See? That's what we don't understand. We walk through this earth. Our life we're given 70, and by the way of strength, possibly more years than that. But that's a small file. That's nothing. So when we stand before the Most High on Judgment Day, guess what? Our file is there. Somebody done recorded everything we done did from childhood to the time we came into the truth to the time we died. Just think about those who didn't know the truth and they died. Just think about them. What do they have to stand on? They don't even know keeping the commandments is going to save you. Okay? Here we talking about the orphans and the fatherless and the widows. In the Christian churches, when do they talk about that being a law? That's not part of the 10 Commandments. But we just read it in the book of Deuteronomy. It says that you're cursed if you even speak against the fatherless. You're cursed. How come they don't teach that in the Christian churches? Do y'all know how many Christian churches there are? There's I believe there's 41,000 Christian churches. 41,000 denominations. That's a lot of denominations in Christianity. Esoteric, Protestant, Catholic, Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox, Lutherans, Baptists, medieval sects, all kinds of stuff. 41,000 Christian churches. And none of them are teaching the Most High's laws. They got the Bible, but they're not teaching the Most High's laws. Ain't that something? That should make you think right there. Is that the truth? I don't think so. I don't think so. That's why the Most High said, "Woe to those who look for the day of the Lord, for that day will be darkness." Because ain't nobody following the truth. Let's go to 1 Timothy 1 and 8. 1 Timothy 1 and 8. First Timothy chapter 1, verse 8. He says, "But we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully." So we got to know how to use the law. See? This is why Hamashiach came, to show us how to use it. He came to show us how to keep the Sabbath day. Okay? You got an emergency, your child is dying. Take your child to the hospital on the Sabbath day. If your dog run away, break through the fence, go find your dog on the Sabbath day. That's why it says, "But know that the law is good if man use it lawfully." We got to know how to use the laws. Lawfully. Okay? Let's go to Proverbs 28:9. If we do not, then we will not make it. If we don't know how to use the law lawfully, we ain't going to make it. We got to know how to use it lawfully. Proverbs 28, verse 9. Now, I'm just telling you frank. Yes, the Most High has mercy on us. Yes, we have grace. But we have to learn to follow his ways in sincerity. The Most High knows your heart. Proverbs 28:9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination. So if we go by what Paul say and not understand what Paul is saying, and Paul is saying what? That the law is done away with, guess what? Your prayers are not going to even get answered. When we say our prayer, when do we end it? We end it with Christ, right? We say in the name of i.u.i.c, right? But before that, if we not even saying it without keeping the laws, when we say i.u.i.c, it's going to go in void. I'm saying you can say i.u.i.c all you want, but didn't i.u.i.c say, many will come in my name and say, Lord, 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 but will not enter into the kingdom of heaven? You can say i.u.i.c name all you want. i.u.i.c is going to turn his ear too if you're not keeping the commandments. Because he's honoring what his father said. He's only doing what his father said do. Okay? Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. We just left there. Let's go back. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 13. Look at this. This is how important the law is. It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. That means the conclusion of your whole life. Everything why we're here. This is the whole conclusion. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. We have to keep the commandments, brothers and sisters. If we don't keep them, it's a done deal for us. We have to teach our children to keep the commandments. And those commandments are what we read earlier: honor your father and your mother and so forth. Honor your brother, love your brothers, love yourself, love your neighbor. You know, all of that. That stuff comes into play. Don't be no homosexuals. Keep the dietary laws. That's all part of the laws too. The dietary laws. My son had he had a report to do on hermit crabs. Do you know that hermit crabs, well, first and foremost, we're not supposed to eat crabs. Any shellfish we're not supposed to eat. Thus saith the Lord in Leviticus chapter 11. We're not supposed to eat any shellfish. They clean the ocean. Okay? The shellfish clean the ocean. So when we eat that stuff, it poisons us. Now my son did a report on the crabs. And in the crabs, when they get stressed out, they have dust mites come out of them. Dust mites and what's the other thing? What's the thing that flies are produced from? Maggots. Maggots. Maggots come out of the crabs. They hide up under the shells of the crab and they live in there. So when crabs get stressed out, those maggots multiply and they start to come out because the crabs, the skin start to swell. So it pushes them out. And then the maggots, once they hit the air, they start to multiply. So our people are eating these crabs, and these crabs are full of maggots. It's like eating something dead, you know? And by the way, these crabs are still alive when they produce these maggots. So I mean, just think, when you take a pork chop and you pour a Coca-Cola on it, you got what to come out of it? Worms. It's the same thing with crabs. The Most High put this stuff in the Bible for a reason. We're not supposed to eat these things that people call delicacies. These things are poison to us. They kill us. And we don't even think twice about it. We don't even consider. Our people love crab. Garlic butter crab. Ooh, let me get some pork chops. They even eat tongue, lingua. Okay? Man, people are gone, man. Let's go to Sirach chapter 2, verse 6. In the Apocrypha. Our people are gone, man. We got to wake up and understand what we're dealing with, man. First and foremost, we dwell in our enemy's land. And dwelling in our enemy's land, we're already succumbed by all his fallacies, all his lies. Sirach chapter 2, verse 6. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Most High, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Most High, believe in him, and your reward shall not fail. Yea, that fear the Most High, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old. That's what we're supposed to do. He's telling you. Don't forget what happened in the past. Look at the prophets of old. Look at the families of old. And see, did ever any trust in the Most High and was confounded? No. That was the question. No, they was never confounded. Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? No. Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? He never despised anyone that called upon him that loved him. Okay? We got to follow what he says. It says, for the Most High is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveness of sins, and saveth in time of affliction. So was it Christ that brought us mercy? Did Christ bring us mercy? Christ brought us his Father's mercy. You got to remember, Christ, Hamashiach, came during the days of Moses. He was in the burning bush. And what did he say? I am whoever my Father wants me to be. If my Father wants me to come down on the earth and destroy, then I am. If my Father wants me to bring repentance to my people, then I am. That was Christ. He was saying that all he was saying is he's going to do whatever his Father wants him to be. Okay? He's going to be the destroyer. He's going to be the one that brings mercy. And it's all the power of his Father, remember? A lot of people don't get that part. They think that God and Christ are one. They're one in family. But they sit on two different thrones. The Most High sits on the throne and Christ stands right next to him. And there's all kinds of scriptures that say that. Christ is at the right hand of his Father. Okay? All through the scriptures it says he's at the right hand of his Father. Let's go to Matthew 24 and 14. Look at this. This is a kicker right here. This part cracks me up. Christianity right here. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Now Christianity think that's them. How many denominations I said Christianity had? 41,000? Do you know if that was the case, Hamashiach would have been back already? Christianity been here since, 70 AD? Christianity. It's been here ever since then. Christ ain't came back yet. Why? Because the gospel has not been preached according to the scriptures. Okay? It's been preached by another Jesus. It's not the same Christ that we worship in the scriptures. It's not the same Hamashiach. Okay? Look at Mark 13 and 10. Mark 13 and 10. Why I say another Jesus? Because the scriptures talk about two Jesuses. A lot of people don't know that. There's two Jesuses in the Bible. Mark 13 and 10. And the gospel must first be published among all nations. See that? So the gospel has to be published amongst all nations. It has been published. It just hasn't been pronounced to the nations. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 6. 2 Corinthians 11. This is verse 4. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 4. For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, a Yahushua, whom we have not preached, or if you receive another spirit which ye have not received, or another gospel which ye have not accepted, ye might rebel with them. So it's telling you there's more than one Christ. See that? There's the Christ of this world, and then there's the Christ of heaven, the one that's going to come and redeem Israel. The Christ of this world is more of a go along, get along Christ. Okay? That's the one you see painted on the posters, the one painted on the windows in the churches, the white Jesus with the blue eyes and the blonde hair. That's that Jesus. That's another Jesus. That's not the Christ of the scriptures. Okay? That's not the same Christ of the scriptures. The Christ of the scriptures came to do his Father's will, which is keeping the commandments. But the Christ of the world is to go along, get along Christ. To hug everybody Christ. Okay? It's not the same Christ that we read about in the scriptures. Okay? Look at this, John 14:28. Because if that go along, get along Christ is the Christ that's ruling, then let's read this. Let's go to John 14. John 14 and 28. John chapter 14, verse 28. Look at what Christ said out of his own mouth. Ye have heard how I said unto you, I go away and come again unto you. If ye love me, ye would rejoice, because I said I go unto the Father. For my Father is greater than I. He's telling you that him and his Father are two different entities. And now I have told you before it come to pass, that when it is come to pass, ye might believe. Hereafter I will not talk much with you, for the prince of this world cometh, and have nothing in me. Who is that prince? That's Satan. So that Jesus you see plastered all over your church, plastered all over some of these Bibles, the white Jesus with woolly hair, that's Satan. Okay? That's not the Christ of the Bible. That's Satan. Okay? But that the world may know that I love the Father, and as the Father gave me commandment, even so I do. Arise, let us go hence. So when he said the prince of this world cometh and have nothing in me, he's telling you, that's a clue. That's a clue telling you that when he passed away and resurrected, that there was another Christ that was going to try to take his place and duplicate what he did. All right? This is the same one that stood up on the mountain. Let's go there. Let's go to Matthew 4. This is the same one that stood up on the mountain and fought with him back and forth. Let's go to Matthew 4 and 9. 4 and 8. Matthew 4 verse 8. Again the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and saith unto him, all these things will I give you, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then said Hamashiach unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Most High thy power, and him only shalt thou serve. See? So who is he talking to? He's talking about the prince of this world, Satan, who's playing the image of Christ now. People see that image, that's Satan. That's not the Most High's Son that he sent on the earth. That's not the same man. Okay? Look at this. Let's go to Revelation 12 and 15. Revelation 12 and 15. Actually, let's go to Revelation 13 and 11. 13 and 11. Because now that the prince of this world ruleth, that means he's ruling all over the earth now. Revelation chapter 13 and 11, it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb. So who is this beast acting like? The Lamb of Christ, the Lamb of the Most High. It says, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. So who was on the mountain with Christ? It was Satan, right? Now he's a dragon. Okay? And he's acting like he's the lamb. It says, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So see, how's he bringing that fire down? Nuclear warheads. When he bombed Hiroshima, he bombed it with what? The atomic bomb. That's that fire that came out the sky. So why is he showing you this? Because this man is duplicating what Hamashiach is going to do in the last days. The Most High said he's going to send what on the earth? Fire. So what is Satan doing? He's trying to duplicate it. Okay? And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. What image is that? The blonde-haired Christ. The blue-eyed white Jesus. That's that image. That's that image, Akim. So we've been fooled, we've been bamboozled, we've been lied to for all these years. So Christianity is not the gospel that's going to spread to the four corners of the earth and then the end's going to come. Because it's been here for over 2,000 years. Okay? So these churches, all these churches, they're all lying to our people. They're not telling them who they are. They're not telling them to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. They're not taking care of the sick, the fatherless. All they want is their money. That's all they want. Sad, isn't it? It's sad, but it's the truth. That's why the Most High is going to bring destruction on this earth. Let's go to Mark chapter 13 and 32. Mark chapter 13. And our people, there's no light in there to tell them what they need to do. If the light does come in there, guess what? They're not going to listen to them. Just like the poor man and the rich man. When the rich man and the poor man died, the rich man told Abraham, can you send me back so I can tell my brothers and warn them about this place so they get right? And what did Abraham tell him? He said they got the prophets. If they don't believe the prophets, then they're going to end up right there in that hellhole with you. They're going to die and go right to the same place. Okay? So if you went into the church and told them, if the Most High Spirit is not in there, guess what? They're not going to listen to you. I don't care what you do. You could turn flips, take balls and throw them up in the air, jump through hula hoops. They ain't going to listen to you. Mark chapter 13, verse 32. But of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. So Christ don't even know when the day is going to end, when he's going to come back on earth. So all these false prophets in these Christian churches saying the date when Christ is coming back, like that one guy that was making that false prophecy talking about 2012 is the end or whatever. Now he's dead. Look at all the people he misled. Even our people were following along with him. This guy had money. He had bulletin boards. I had took a trip. I was in Colorado and I'm driving on the freeway and I see one of his 16-wheelers with that plastered all over the 16-wheeler. 2012, May 2012 is the end of the earth. False prophecies. All of that's coming from where? The Christian churches. All these false prophecies.
That's the crazy thing. They still following that dude.
Yeah, people still follow. He still got a radio show out. Even though he's dead, he still has followers. And the radio show is still on the air. And they still listening to that same garbage. You know? It says, take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is. We don't know when Hamashiach is coming back, but we know the time is near. We know we're living in the last days. Just look at the shootings going on with our people. Look how hard-headed our people are now. The families are broken up. Our people are being very hatred toward one another. They're shooting each other. All right? They're not nice to each other anymore. We don't have anything anymore. We know we're in the last days. We know we're in the last days. We're in our enemy's land. It's just a matter of time. We don't know when, but we know it's soon. That's why he says this. Verse 34. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to every man his work. That's what he did. He gave his servants work to do what? Go out and teach the people about the commandments. It says, and commanded the porter to watch. We're all supposed to watch. Look at the signs of the times. It says, watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh. We don't know. At evening, or at midnight, or at the cock crowing. You know, that's when chicken get up and roost. Or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. That's why you can't fall asleep. You got to continue to work in this work. And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. This is what Christ said. That's why when he rose again and he resurrected and he was on his way back to heaven and the disciples watched, they stood by watching, they asked him, will you restore the kingdom again? And he didn't say nothing to them. He said, it's not for you to know. it wasn't for that time period. That's how we know that it's coming. Okay? He's been gone 2,000 years. Let's go to John 12 and 44. We got to understand that when Christ was on the earth, he spoke his Father's words. He wasn't speaking his words. People think that that was his word. No, that was his Father's words. Everything that he said was his Father's words. See? That's how we got to know. We got to get in order, man. We got to follow the Father's words. All right? John 12 and 44. Yahushua cried and said, He that believeth on me, believeth not on me, but on him that sent me. And he that seeth me, seeth him that sent me. See? So the witnesses are the 12 disciples that saw him. Okay? And they wrote about him. It says, I am come a light into the world, that whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness. Why? Because he's that testimony. And if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. Why? Because he's already condemned. He's only going to judge the righteous. When you read the book of Psalms, it tells you that he judgeth the righteous and he's angry with the wicked every day. See, if you don't know the precepts, you wouldn't know that. So you have to study the precepts. I think that's Psalm 7 and 11. Or vice versa, 11 and 7. He's angry with the wicked every day and he judges the righteous. That's why he says, I judge the ones who doesn't keep his laws. It says, for I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. He that rejecteth me and receiveth not my words hath one that judgeth him. And word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last days. For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me. He gave me a commandment what I should say and what I should speak. So that's dumbfounding to say that there's a trilogy. No, Christ is his Father's Son. There's no trilogy. And I know that his commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak, therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak. So he's only doing what his Father told him to do. When he returns, are we ready? Think about it. Are we really ready? We got to speak the Father's words. I mean, that's the ultimate sacrifice, speaking his words. We got to be ready and put away all the sin, man. Look at all the sin we got to put away. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. Because things are speeding up. I mean, they are really speeding up. The examples, like I said, look at that shooting that happened. And we've been telling brothers and sisters, just because that shooting happened, it's going to be many, many more happening. It ain't going to stop right there. It's going to keep happening until our people repent. The Most High is showing us affliction. Until we recognize that it's coming from the Most High, then we'll change our ways. 1 Corinthians 15 to 24. We're almost done here. 1 Corinthians 15:24. Look at this. People don't understand that Christ is just doing his Father's will. It says, then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High. So he's going to deliver, once Christ comes and destroys this place, and the kingdom is restored, then he's going to deliver it back to his Father. Okay? It says, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power, because when he comes, they're going to make war against him. This world is going to war against Christ. They're going to shoot their missiles. They're going to have their tanks. They're going to have their ships out there with the nuclear weapons. They're going to shoot at Christ. Okay? For he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. For he hath put all things under his feet. But when he saith all things are put under him, it is manifest that he is accepted, which did put all things under him. And when all things shall be subdued unto him, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him. So you're going to be subject unto the Father as well as us. This is that the Most High may be all in all. See? The Most High is the one. He's the one that's going to reign over the whole entire universe. He's going to reign over this place. Okay? Let's go to Isaiah 47 and 3. Isaiah 47 and 3. See, people got it twisted. When he come back this time, he ain't coming back to play. Isaiah 47:3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. What's the nakedness? Not keeping the laws. That's the nakedness. That's the whole armor of the Most High. When you keep the commandments. It says, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. See? And he's coming against the virgin of the daughter of Babylon. You read the first verse. This kingdom is the kingdom of Esau. So that's the virgin of the daughter of Babylon. Okay? So that's who he's coming back to destroy. That's why he says, I'm not going to meet you like a man. I'm coming like Superman. I'm coming like the Incredible Hulk. He coming angry. What happens to the Hulk when he get angry? He gets bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger. That's how Christ is coming back. And when you read Isaiah 63, he tells you how he's going to destroy this place. That chapter is untouched by the Christian churches. They don't even go into that chapter. Isaiah 63. It's like they skip right over it in the church. They'll never read that. Okay, let's go to 1 John 2:6. Y'all didn't know that about Job though, huh? How that spirit went right before his face. That could happen to you. Same thing can happen to you and me. As a matter of fact, this already happened to me before when I was a child. But it can happen again. 1 John 2:6. He that saith he abideth in him, ought himself also so to walk, even as he walked. So we got to walk as Hamashiach. See? We got to walk as Hamashiach. That's our example. He's our example. So if we walk like him, that means that we have a profession, right? All of us are professionals in the truth now. We have a job to do. This is our job. Let's go to Hebrews 10:23. Look at this. Hebrews 10:23. Look at this. He says, let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering. So this is a job. Y'all didn't know this was a job, huh? This is a job that we're supposed to love. It's a profession. For he is faithful that promised. So I'm a professional now. I'm a professional. I'm a pro in the truth. Okay? All you brothers and sisters should be pros in the truth. Okay? Y'all ain't never heard that. We're not students. We're supposed to be professionals in the truth. Okay? Not a professional student, but a professional disciple. Okay? A professional servant. That's what we're supposed to be. Look at verse 38. Same chapter. Hebrews 10:38. It says, now the just shall live by faith. But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. So we got to continue to move forward in believing in the Most High laws, statutes, commandments. Romans 3:31. Because Christians will say, oh, see, all we got to do is have faith. That's it. But that's not the way it works. Most High has things lined up the way we're supposed to keep the law, statutes, commandments, and the way we're supposed to have faith, and the way we're supposed to have grace. Romans 3:31 says, do we then make void the law through faith? Right. Do we give up the law just behind faith? The Most High forbid. No. It says, yea, we establish the law. So we have to establish the law. By keeping the law, that's a form of faith. When you keep the laws of the Most High, that's a form. By not eating crab, that's a form of faith. You believe that if you don't eat that you're going to be redeemed. That's faith. By not being a homosexual and not falling into that temptation, if you have those problems, those lusts, that's a form of faith. Do you understand what faith is? Faith is keeping his commandments. That's the whole duty of man. Okay, let's go to Psalms 145:8. The two more verses. Psalms chapter 145, verse 8. My finger's still trying to do the walking here. Psalms 145:8. The Most High is gracious and full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. See, because a lot of Israelites coming to the truth and they want it to end now. They're like, we ready to go. This place is about to be destroyed. Most High gonna come redeem us. All these people gonna die. I'm going into the kingdom. I'm gonna have fun in the kingdom. That's how Israelites, they just coming to the truth. That's how they are. No, the Most High is merciful and gracious. He's thinking about the whole nation of Israel. He see people that we can't see that has to get this truth before this place get destroyed. It ain't gonna get destroyed until every single 1/3 of the Israelites get marked. They all gotta be sealed in their head before destruction comes on the earth. Just like Lot, the angels did not destroy Sodom until Lot made it completely out of the city. They said, we're not gonna destroy the city until you get out of here. It's the same way with the sealing of the servants of the Israelites. The Most High sees it and he has faith and understanding and grace. He understands it's going to take a minute. Okay? That's why Christ don't even know. Christ don't even know the day or the hour. He don't know. So don't feel bad. That's why you still got to maintain yourself in this world. You still got to pay your bills. You still got to raise your children. You still got to keep the commandments. Honor your father and your mother. You still got to keep the commandments. Honor the Sabbath day. Honor the Most High's name. All right? Don't bow down any graven images like crosses and all those other things. Flags, anthems. Okay? Let's go to Luke 6:36. Luke 6:36. It says, be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. So we got to be the same way as our Father, just like Christ was. He was merciful. That's what he's showing now. There's going to be a time where we're not going to have to be merciful to all these wicked people. It's going to be a time, but it ain't now. Right now, we got to be merciful. Okay? And with that, we're going to end it. Are there any questions? Any questions? All right.
Deuteronomy 4:6. The way we were talking about earlier. 4:6, 6:4. Between 4 and 6 verses.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes, and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Right. And that's what they're going to see the brothers and sisters out there that's doing work in the Most High out there trying to wake up our people. And even the other brothers that's helping and that you don't see that's behind the scenes. But, you know, this is going to be our wisdom in the sight of the nation. Because we're not acting like they try to portray us like we're animals. You know what I mean? That's why we out there in the street, you know, to keep calm. You know, we speaking the word of the Most High. You know what I mean? We ain't getting rowdy. We ain't getting none of that stuff like that out there in the street. You know, we just being humble and just speaking, you know, like our forefathers were. You know? So when we come back to these laws, like H.O.R.S was saying earlier, you know, this is going to be our wisdom in sight of the nation. You know, when they come up to us, we're going to speak to them, you know, properly as far as within the scripture. At the same time, we're going to cut them up word of the Most High, whether they like it or whether they don't like it. And that's amongst our own people that don't want to listen to the Most High's word. Okay? So, go to 6 and 4.
Deuteronomy 6 verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one, Lord. And thou shalt love thy power with all thine heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart.
Right. So us as a nation and us that's coming to this truth, we must love the Lord with all our heart, meaning our mind. That's good.
And thou shalt bind them, And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
Right. So to teach our children about the Passover, the high holy days of the Most High, the day of Pentecost, all these things. You sit now, you talk to your daughter, or talk to your son, you know. Go ahead, you going?
And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them upon thy post of thy house and on thy gates. And it shall be when the Most High thy power shall have brought thee into the land which he swore unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities, which thou buildest not, and houses full of all good things which thou fillest not, and wells dig which thou diggest not, vineyards and olive trees which thou plantest not, when thou shalt have eaten and be full.
Right. So, all these things that the Most High going to give us in that time when we come back to Him. We looking at in this present world like, you know, we see how the other nations, all the bunch of things that they have, you know, that's nothing compared with the Most High going to give us. You can't fathom. You know, we think they give Jake $1 million. That's a lot of money to our people. Most of never had no money like that before. Let alone you give any of our people that type of money, they don't know how to manage that. If they'll be broke in 1 year, you give Jake $1 million. The first thing he gonna buy is a brand new car. You know, I'm thinking how can I invest this money to make it, instead of $1 million, make it 20 million. You know, our people don't know how to invest money or, you know, do certain things like that. You know what I mean? So, you know, basically that's what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, you know, we look at the worldly things, but at the same time, the Most High is going to bless us as a nation. We won't have to worry about those things. You know.
And then when you look at it too, what did Christ say to the Pharisee that came to him and said, "Do you pay taxes?" Christ said, he didn't say anything. He said, "Let me see the money that you have." He got it from a disciple, and he says, "Whose face is on this money?" And he said, "Isn't this the Roman emperor?" He says, "Well, pay the Roman emperor what's his." In other words, everything that we get money, we get property in this kingdom. Esau could come take it at any given time. That's why things are so hard for us. You know, we paying our bills, we got taxes. It seems like there's no end to the bills, to the cycle of bills coming in. We pay it off, but it seems like we broke after we pay it off. Well, that's because it's not ours. Your house is not yours. Your car is not yours. That's why the police can pull you over in your car and give you a ticket for driving with no seatbelt. You inside your car. Why are he worried about how you drive in your car?
Well, even after you pay your house off, you still got to pay property taxes every year.
Right.
So you still own the house.
Yeah. So all of this stuff. That's why we have to be ready to go at the drop of a hat when Christ shows up. Because none of this is ours. Just leave all this stuff. This stuff is not ours anyway. Basically, we everything we have in this kingdom is rent to own. Whether we paying a mortgage or not, it's still rent to own. We got a company, it's still rent to own. They come take it. They come take it from you. It's nothing. Okay? So, like when he said, the Messiah walks on the earth and he has no place to lay his head, he was speaking about this kingdom. About how we're going to be. We got no place to really lay our head. This is not our stuff. I mean, you got to look at it that way. You know? So.
And all it boils down to is just, you know, don't get sucked up into worldly things. And like I said, there's nothing wrong having, you know, if you have the money to get your new car or, you know, go buy a house. We're not saying that don't go buy a house or.
Right.
You know,
we're just telling you. There's two stories here. There's a story about being in Babylon, you have to still maintain yourself in Babylon. But on the flip note, the other story is, even though that you're in Babylon, you're maintaining, when Hamashiach come back, you got to be ready to go when he says go. Okay? So those are the two stories. Maintain yourself in this kingdom until he returns. It's simple.
Well, yeah, why you in the truth?
Right.
Just like I said, we came across some brothers that in the truth that don't work. I don't even know how that make any sense. Like, how you not work? But, you know, you're Israelite and, you know, you not work. You know? This is telling you that the Most High, man is supposed to work. 6 days and 7 days supposed to rest. You know?
That's true.
You tell you that in the beginning of the book.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, you meet a lot of brothers and sisters that come in the truth, and some are just lazy, so a lot of them don't want to work. You know, you'd be like, man, what's wrong with y'all? You know, but that's the part they got to break out of that habit of, you know, becoming new and getting themselves together in order. You know what I mean? We all have to, you know, whatever our sins or our situation might be in our situation of our lives. You know, so. But like I said, we don't get everybody twisted thinking that, oh man, they said, man, we ain't supposed to get a new car. You know, we supposed to stay where we supposed to be staying. They're like, nah, man, you know.
Yeah,
that's the meaning. Go ahead and get your new house.
Yeah, it's common sense, and that's why I said in the New Testament, learn the law lawfully. You know, with proper use, with common sense. Have sense when you're keeping the laws. It's the same thing. You know. So. Anybody got any other questions?
This is the word of the Lord of hosts. I took you from the pastures and from following the sheep to be prince over my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone and have destroyed all the enemies in your path. I will make you a great name among the great ones of the earth. I will assign a place for my people in Israel. There I will plant them, and they shall dwell in their own land.